How's it going, you guys? So I want to talk a lot more about grass-fed meat and organic food in general versus conventional foods. I feel like this is an extremely necessary video simply because a lot of people seem to misunderstand health and nutrition in general in regards to health and just the overall bigger picture of health and how to achieve it. So here's the thing. Right off the bat, I'll tell you, I think grass-fed animal products and organic food is extremely important. I think that it is extremely beneficial, and I think that it is worth every single penny. But the thing is, if you cannot afford it, if you can't afford it comfortably to be able to live the way you want to live, then it's an overall net negative on your own lifestyle versus if you were to just eat within your means and buy food that you can actually afford and live comfortably at the same time. So I have a lot of supporting evidence behind this, both scientific and subjective. But look, here's the thing. When I first started my health journey, I believe strongly in buying the best food that you possibly can find under any circumstances. My motto and my mantra to a lot of people was, invest in your health first so you don't have to pay for hospital bills later on down the road. Also, I've always preached that the quality of food that you put into your body directly translate into the quality of results you get in the real world and in life. I've always believed that if you eat the highest quality food that you possibly can, and you don't let all of these sounds in the environment ruin your concentration of the video, right? The world will stop at nothing to keep Wolfgang from getting this important message out, right? But that's why, I like spontaneous being live. That's just the way I do things, right? That's why you guys like my videos so much. Because I'm authentic, not scripted. Anyway, the thing is, I've always preached, it's always been my mantra, the quality of food you put in your body directly creates the quality of results you put into life. Like, the better food that you have in your body, the better effort you'll be able to put towards things in your life. But here's the thing. When I was in college, I've been in college for years, actually. But in 2015, I was sitting in one of my college psychology classes, and there was a question the teacher asked. It was about healthy eating and why you do or do not eat healthy. And there was one guy who said basically that you can't expect to ask a Mexican family to stop eating menudo or something like that. And then I explained to him pretty briefly that you can actually make menudo pretty damn healthy. And actually, I believe menudo is pretty healthy, considering it gives you some healthy parts of the animal that most people don't eat. It's a nose-to-tail dish that people still eat. That's very rare to find in modern diets. Anyway, then his response was, well, listen, most people don't have enough money to go out and buy and shop at Whole Foods and buy all organic foods and blah, blah, blah. And immediately, it struck me as idiocy. The main reason it struck me as idiocy, because this guy is talking about how he doesn't have enough money to eat healthy, and he's sitting there with a Starbucks latte that probably cost him $7 at his desk. Really, guy, you don't have enough money to go out to H-E-B or whatever, Walmart, whatever cheap store you have around your house, and buy some ground beef, ground turkey, whatever it is, conventionally raised, some broccoli, maybe some brown rice if you sprout it and soak it and pound it into mush so you can actually digest the damn thing. But you don't have enough money to meal prep. It'd probably cost you maybe, I don't know, $2 a meal maximum, but you have enough money to fucking spend $7 on a Starbucks latte that's providing you what, like 1,000 calories worth of straight up sugar. There's probably shit tons of vegetable oils in there, and who knows what else. right? Point here is, and you know, and look, you can splurge every now and then, right? But the point here is, the excuse was, I don't have enough money to buy organic grass-fed food from Whole Foods, from a premium health store. I don't have enough money to shop there. Like, that is the logic that people need to remove in order for them to even begin on this journey, right? And it was at that moment that I realized telling people, hey man, like, you know, you need to be, you know, spending $30 on, you know, $30 a pound on grass-fed, organic, biodynamic fucking ground beef or something. Like, I realized that that was the wrong message there. Unless, of course, you make, what, like $100,000 a year, which in that case is perfectly fine. Most people use that as an excuse. Most people get discouraged at the thought of, like, hey, like, I would love to be healthy, so to speak. I would love to start trying to eat right. I would love to reverse my diabetes without medications. But I don't have enough money to buy grass-fed organic beef. Or whatever. Like, I don't have enough money to spend on, like, what, 10 pounds of vegetables every couple days. That's why I tell everybody, you know, the very basic foundations of what you need to be healthy. And I constantly crack down on information that will only take people away from that. Like the very basics. Like I let people know, look, there's thousands and thousands of people who have reversed diabetes, multiple sclerosis, gout, and various autoimmune disorders, lost tons of weight. They've got the best blood work in their life, the best health of their life, the best shape of their life. They feel better than they've ever felt in their life. And thousands of people have done this eating nothing but conventionally raised ground beef, for example, right? Like, I'm not saying that that's ideal. I'm just saying, there, you know, you're crying and complaining like, well, I can't afford grass-fed beef. I can't afford organic vegetables. Well, guess what? You don't have to buy that shit. You know, you could survive on $5 a day just buying, what, like 2 pounds of conventionally raised ground beef. And just eat that. Literally just eat that every single day. Again, I'm not recommending that, but what I'm saying is, as far as reversing diabetes, losing weight in a very fast and efficient way where you don't have to count calories or do no crazy nonsense, killing cravings, you know, people, they put epilepsy into remission. I have a fucking friend who actually, I think his name is Leukemia Slayer on Instagram, and he actually, I don't know if it was a diet, but 2 months after starting a carnivore diet, which again I'm not recommending, he actually put his leukemia into remission. And this is a guy that I actually trained with at the gym in real life. You know, the point here is you don't need to spend shit tons of money to buy foods that you don't even want to eat to begin with, or pay shit tons of money to buy grass-fed and organic produce and beef and animal products and these things if you don't have the money. You know, what you got to ask yourself is, what is the result that I want? Am I trying to reverse diabetes? Am I trying to reverse my coronary artery calcium score? Am I trying to increase athletic performance? Am I trying to reverse chronic digestive problems, Crohn's disease, psoriasis, irritable bowel syndrome? What exactly is my intention? That's the first thing. And then from there, you try to find a nutrition protocol that lots of people are having success with, that you can actually follow, right? And then after you see that thousands of people are achieving success with it, then you can start to look at mechanistic data and the scientific literature to try to understand why people are getting success with it. That way you can broaden your understanding. That's what I had to do, but my journey took a long, long time because I was constantly persuaded by these fuck asses like Dr. Gundry and lots and lots of other people that I could name. These people who tell you need grass-fed and organic because the antibiotics in the meat are going to kill you. They're going to wipe out your gut flora. You need to cut out all red meat and all animal products because they're what's causing disease and blah, blah, blah. They're putrefying in your gut, which is the absolute worst nonsense you could believe. Or you have to eat 80% fat to stay ketogenic and limit protein. I listened to way too many gurus for so long. Instead of just looking at, well, what do I want to achieve and what is actually working for people? And so I felt sick. I felt horrible for years before I finally found what actually works. And it would have been a lot simpler. It could have been so much simpler if I would have just done this. But anyway, most people, if you're just trying to be healthy, you're trying to reverse disease, all of these things, you don't actually need grass-fed and organic. And I think a lot of people, they're eating shit tons of plant foods, again, which I'm not against, but people with autoimmune diseases need to maybe try eliminating them for a period of time. And they're eating shit tons of plant foods, and, you know, they're organic plant foods and this and that. And they're eating grass-fed and organic beef, and they're still not getting better. You know, I'm a member of several groups, including Dr. Wall's multiple sclerosis group. People are wondering, why is my condition getting worse? I'm eating all organic foods. I'm eating, you know, organic vegetables and this and that. Doing Dr. David Perlmutter or Dr. Gundry's, you know, anti-lectin diet. You know, spending $100 a day on all this high quality food, but yet my symptoms are only getting worse, or I'm not getting better. And at that point, you should really start to ask yourself, well, are these gurus I'm following correct? And I think the problem is people, instead of questioning their protocol, they start to think that they're helpless. They start to believe in the mainstream medicine approach that, well, I guess the doctors are right. My autoimmune disease is incurable. I should just get my intestine removed for Crohn's disease. And I hate that so much because people suffer. And if they would just do deeper research into this and look for the people who are actually getting success, you'll find that that's not necessary. And if you get your intestine removed, well, kiss that sucker goodbye, because that's it. It's permanent, right? And it might not actually be necessary. Anyway, what I'm really trying to say here is it's the type of foods that you eat. It's not necessarily the quality. People who just stick to, they just remove food intolerances, and they remove foods that are known to be causing certain conditions. For example, with type 2 diabetes, sure, you could just restrict your calories and restore insulin sensitivity, but that's not sustainable. I know there's so many people who are dogmatic about this nonsense, but honestly, remove the carbs if you have diabetes for a year. Get your hemoglobin A1C down to non-diabetic levels. If you have a significant amount of weight to lose, there's numerous protocols you can do. Do that. If you have digestive problems, try an autoimmune paleo diet, right? Remove the whole grains, remove the beans, remove the nuts and seeds for a period of time. And whether you're eating grass-fed, organic, blah, 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 none of that shit's actually going to make a huge difference in whatever condition you're trying to improve. The only thing that's going to actually make a difference is the type of foods you're eating. Stop eating the foods that are causing the problem and start eating the foods that are going to help you reach whatever goal you have. Now, obviously, getting adequate nutrients is also important. And there's a lot of debate on what nutrients and what amounts are actually essential for human health. Especially depending on the carbohydrate intake, the protein intake, and the sources of carbs and protein as well. Different amounts of carbohydrates are going to change your requirement for a number of different nutrients. And in particular, we're talking B1, folate, and vitamin C, which is probably why. I mean, there's a lot of debate on that. But the point here is, that's another thing, is if you're not providing your body with adequate protein, adequate calories, adequate vitamins and minerals, which, by the way, you can get from both plant or animal sources. There's about 200 milligrams of magnesium per pound of red muscle meat, and there's about 1.5 grams of potassium per pound of red muscle meat. So that's quite a lot of minerals. You shouldn't have to supplement. Anyway, getting enough vitamins, minerals, and protein, and calories in general. I mean, come on, that's common sense. But the thing is, there's such a big push for 1 meal a day and intermittent fasting these days, which again is great and therapeutic if that's your intention, if it matches your intention. Okay? Again, people are doing this whole intermittent fasting thing because they want to maximize autophagy, and they want to reduce mTOR and extend longevity. And the same thing goes for this grass-fed and organic push, is that people are not looking for, like an intended result at all. They're just trying to reach this nirvana of health that they can't even define. Like, they don't even know what their intention is. They just know that, like, mTOR is bad and we must minimize it at all costs. Go on 30-day breatharian fasts and crap like that. Try to induce autophagy. Look, you're gonna feel like fucking crap if you do this kind of nonsense. And I know this because, number one, I did a lot of crazy shit like that when I first started back in 2014 is when I really started to get freaky with it. But I had extreme digestive problems and psoriasis at that time, and so that's why I was doing a lot of those things. Because I noticed when I fasted, it went away. Then I realized, oh shit, it's the whole grains and all these so-called healthy foods that are actually triggering these symptoms, right? But now I also have a lot of people who message me and they're like, hey, Wolfgang, I feel like crap, blah, blah, blah. And I ask them, well, what are you eating and how often? And they're like, oh, I'm doing 1 meal a day, small amount of pasta with some meat and potatoes. Like, what the fuck? No wonder you feel like fucking crap. You're not eating enough calories. You're not like, how much protein are you eating? Oh, I don't know, like a handful of steak. Like, what the fuck, guy? You're not even tracking your protein. Those are the very basics of the basics. So, yeah, what I'm saying here is, you know, if you have a fucking budget, grass-fed and organic and these things should be the last of your concern. So.